I still remember the sound my phone made that night, just a soft vibration on the kitchen counter while she was in the shower. I wasn't looking for anything. I swear I wasn't. It was just there, face up, lighting up like it always did. Her lock screen preview showed a name I didn't recognize. "Can you delete our chat? I don't want him to see anything." I stared at it longer than I should have. My first thought wasn't even suspicion. It was confusion. Because nothing in our life had ever felt unstable. We were engaged. Wedding plans were half done. Her family already called me future husband, without hesitation. We shared rent, routines, grocery lists, everything that makes a life feel predictable. She came out of the bathroom humming like nothing in the world could touch her. And I did the worst possible thing. I smiled. I put the phone down. I let it go. That should have been the end of it. But something about the way my stomach tightened didn't leave. It stayed there, quiet but persistent, like a door I hadn't meant to open. I told myself I was imagining things. That people don't just slip. But that message didn't feel like imagination. The next day, I couldn't stop replaying it. Delete our chat. It didn't sound like a joke. It sounded practiced. Intentional. Like there was a system behind it I wasn't part of. Her name is Maya. We'd been together almost 4 years, engaged for 6 months. She was the kind of person who remembered everyone's birthdays, who cried at animal rescue videos, who once drove an hour just to return a stranger's lost wallet. I built a version of reality around that version of her. So I started rationalizing. Maybe it was a co-worker. Maybe something innocent taken out of context. I even laughed at myself for being paranoid. But I started noticing small things after that. She angled her phone away when typing. She started stepping into the hallway for quick calls. She changed her passcode and didn't mention it. And still, every time I tried to confront it inside my own head, I hit a wall: trust. Because I trusted her more than I trusted my instincts. That's the part one hate most when I think back. Not what she did first, but how long I helped myself ignore it. A week later, it escalated in a way I didn't expect. We were sitting on the couch watching some show either of us cared about. Her phone lit up again. Same name. Same timing. This time I saw more of the preview. "Last night was a mistake, but I can't stop thinking." She tilted the screen away immediately, almost reflexively, like her body reacted before her mind could. My chest went cold. I didn't speak. Not right away. I just sat there listening to the show's laugh track like it belonged in another life. She stood up, said she needed to take this real quick, and walked into the balcony. And something in me broke open, not loudly, not dramatically. Quietly. Like a crack spreading under ice. I remember thinking, if I follow her right now, everything changes. So I didn't. I just sat there, staring at the empty space she left behind, realizing I was suddenly in a relationship where I didn't know the rules anymore. And for the first time, I didn't feel like her fiancé. I felt like an outsider. The turning point wasn't one dramatic discovery. It was accumulation. Over the next few days, I started noticing patterns I wish I could unsee. The phone always faced down now. The bathroom calls that lasted exactly long enough to feel planned. The sudden attention to how she looked when leaving the house. I even checked myself at one point, wondering if I was becoming paranoid. I hated that version of me, the one who looked for cracks in things that were supposed to be solid. But then came the message I saw when she left her phone charging in the bedroom. I wasn't snooping in some calculated way. I was plugging in my own charger, and it was right there, unlocked from a notification preview. "Tell him you're staying late again. I want to see you." My hands went numb. I read it 3 times before it became real language in my head. There was no misunderstanding anymore. No ambiguity I could hide behind. Just betrayal, sitting in plain text like it belonged there. And I remember the exact moment my brain stopped trying to protect me from it. It just accepted it. She came home smiling that night. I don't think I've ever hated a smile more. I was sitting at the table pretending to scroll my phone. My whole body felt like it was waiting for impact, like something had already fallen but hadn't hit the ground yet. She kissed me on the cheek and asked what I wanted for dinner. I remember hearing myself answer. I don't remember choosing the words. I had been living inside the betrayal for a long time without knowing the shape of it. And the worst part wasn't anger. It was grief. Because I didn't just lose her. I lost the version of our entire history that I thought was real. When I finally told her I knew, it didn't explode immediately. She froze. That was the first crack in her. I remember saying her name, and she already knew from my voice that the game was over. What are you talking about? She asked. But it wasn't a question. It was a delay. So I told her. The messages. The calls. The photos. The overheard conversation. Piece by piece, I watched her face change, not into remorse first, but calculation. Like she was trying to decide which version of herself to present. Then came tears. Then came denial. It's not what you think, she said. It got complicated. I laughed once, but it came out wrong. Complicated felt like the most insulting word she could have chosen. Because nothing about what I saw was complicated. It was just hidden. And the difference between those two things became everything. The confrontation lasted hours. She oscillated between apology and justification like she was trying every possible exit door. At one point she said, I didn't plan for it to happen. And I remember thinking how often people use that sentence to escape responsibility for choices they made repeatedly. There was another man. That much was clear. She said she loved us both in different ways. That sentence broke something in me that hadn't fully broken yet. Because it reframed everything, not as an accident, but as a divided intention. I asked her when it started. She hesitated too long. And in that silence, I got my answer. Not just when, but how long I had been living next to it without knowing. After she admitted enough that denial wasn't possible anymore, something strange happened in me. I stopped yelling. I stopped feeling like I needed to win the argument. I just went quiet. Not calm. Not healed. Just emptied of momentum. She kept talking, trying to explain timelines, feelings, confusion, emotional overlap. But I wasn't really listening anymore. I was thinking about all the small moments I had trusted her. Every I love you. That now felt like it had been split in half and sent to two different people. And I hated myself for this part most. I still loved her. Even then. Even with everything exposed. That realization didn't soften anything. It just made the pain more complicated to carry. Because betrayal doesn't always replace love. Sometimes it just sits on top of it and refuses to leave. We didn't break up immediately. That's something people don't understand unless they've been inside it. There's often a strange limbo after truth arrives. She stayed in the apartment for a few days. We slept in different rooms. We avoided eye contact like it could trigger another collapse. Friends started noticing something was off. I stopped answering messages. She started crying at random hours. Her family called me. Mine called her. Everyone tried to stabilize something that was already gone. And still, either of us fully left. Because endings like that don't feel clean. They feel like failure you keep postponing. Eventually, she moved out. No dramatic goodbye. No final fight. Just boxes. Silence. And the sound of drawers emptying. Before she left, she tried to hug me. I didn't stop her. But I didn't hug back. That moment has stayed with me more than anything else. Because it showed me exactly how far apart we had become while still standing in the same room. She said, I never meant to hurt you. And I believe she meant it. But intention doesn't undo impact. After she left, the apartment felt larger and emptier at the same time. Like it had been inflated with something that was now gone. The months after were worse than the moment of discovery. At least discovery has clarity. Afterward is just repetition. I'd wake up reaching for someone who wasn't there. I'd see her habits in everything: songs, streets, conversations. There were nights I considered calling her just to hear her voice, even knowing what it contained. But I didn't. Instead, I sat with the version of myself that had been living inside a lie and tried to figure out what parts of him still made sense. Trust doesn't just break outward. It breaks inward too. It's been long enough now that people assume I'm over it. I'm not sure what that means. I don't think you fully remove something like this. You just build around it. Sometimes I still think about that first message. Delete our chat. It feels like the entire story was contained in that one sentence, and I just didn't know how to read it yet. If there's anything I learned, it's not some neat lesson about love or betrayal. It's that people can live double lives without splitting in half. And you can love someone completely while they're giving pieces of themselves elsewhere. What I still don't understand is how silence can sit in a room so long before you realize it's actually the sound of something ending.